Hello, happy Friday. Welcome to the Joyful Business Live Show. I'm so excited to have you here. This is episode, oh my gosh, I forgot. I think it's episode 12 or 13. I can't remember. So welcome. So glad to see some of you joining in. Just back from a holiday party, so I'm still kind of dressed in my holiday apparel. My red sweater. So welcome everyone. So glad that you are here. Welcome to December. Can you believe we're almost at the end of the first week of December already? Counting down for 2019. So welcome everyone. If you are here watching, if you haven't seen me before, I am Laura West with the Center for Joyful Business. I'm a almost 20-year business coach with a very different way and different approach to creating your business. I'm all about that we have to start on the inside to then work for, start on the inside to get to the stuff on the outside. So that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. All right. Yes, I am still, for those of you who have been following me for the last month, I am still sucking on my cough drops. So I still have lots of cough drops. I have a whole supply here. Hopefully we won't need them. So it's been one of those years. So today I'm really excited. I love this time of year. I love talking about planning. I love planning. I love helping other people's plans. I am big about plans. I know that's not always the case for all of you. Some of you dread planning or hate planning or have never planned. Some of you wish you would plan. Some of you like planning too. And maybe some of you have planned in a way that didn't feel very creative. I know for me, I did tons of planning in corporate when I was VP of marketing for shopping centers. We had 50 shopping centers. They all had to do a marketing plan and a business plan. That's 100 plans a year. Plus, I would look at lots of retailer plans, plus multiply that times 17 years. And you get thousands of marketing plans when you do it that way. And what I have learned about plans over the years, especially when I came to my own business, what I realized was in corporate, I created these marketing plans and business plans mostly for other people, some to guide, what activities we were going to do, what decisions we were making. But a lot of it had to do with making presentations to the people who owned our companies, our businesses, or were part owners, investors in our shopping centers. When I got into my own business, it was like I didn't need all these Excel spreadsheets. I have a couple of Excel spreadsheets, but I really needed something that was more creative, more inspirational, more where I could put my passion into my plan. All that passion and joy that I have for my business, I wanted to be able to put that into my plan as well. So that when I looked at my plan, it wasn't this drudgery of something to do that I would beat myself up with, that it was more an inspirational guide. And so I, for years, have been doing all sorts of right brain type business plans, creative business plans. Now I have what I call the Joyful Business Plan, which I'm going to be showing you parts of. Hello, everyone. Hello. I just want to say hi, everybody. Thank you, Tina. I look good in red, the Christmas red. Thank you. Just came from a holiday party, holiday luncheon. Yeah, I was just thinking about the holiday luncheon, so I got a little distracted. We had a door prize of Palooza, so it was really fun. I was in charge of getting all the door prizes. We just had constant door prizes through the whole luncheon. It was really fun. So that's on my list of joy flow sightings. You all know that I love to start these shows with joy flow sightings. So I'd love to hear from you all. You can put it in the chat. When you think about your week, what has gone on this week? Like if you're in the US, from Thanksgiving on till now, what goodness has happened, right? What good things have happened in your life, in your business? Sometimes they might be like really big successes. Like I have a partnership that I coached, and they renewed and became clients for another year, which I just love them. And so I'm excited about that. So that was something big. And then I had lots of little things, like the door prize of Palooza today and the holiday luncheon was something that was just really fun, really got my energy up. I I shifted from DirecTV, which was really annoying me, to YouTube TV, and I actually really love it. So that's something that's like flowing in my life. Mandy said, I had an amazing session with my coach yesterday. Yes, we did. We did have an amazing session. I love your homework. I can't wait to see your homework too. So yeah, if you want to put something in the chat, I'd love to hear where your joy is flowing. It's really inspiring to hear other people claim their joy. It's really, sometimes we think, oh, we're bragging, or we might think, oh, I'm going to make somebody else feel bad. If I talk about my new client or my renewal or my holiday party, I'm going to make somebody else feel bad. But actually, people really like to know that there's abundance and prosperity flowing. At least I do, and I think most of you here. I love to hear when people get new clients, when people get speaking engagements, when they buy a new Mac computer or whatever computer, upgrade their technology, do things that really, make you feel good, make you feel supported, make you feel successful. So please put those in. I love to hear about those. Hi, everybody. Oh, gosh, we got a good group this Friday afternoon joining us live. And hello to everyone if you're listening later on when we post this. All right, let's see. What are we going to talk about today? Oh, yes, planning, my favorite topic. This really is one of my favorite times. I get really excited. To me, especially as we get into December more, I feel like I can feel like a letting go of the last year and a letting go of what feels like old energy. And no matter how great the year has been or not been, but I feel like I can feel the letting go process starting to happen. And I feel excitement for the new year. And there is something, even though it's a made up construct, right? But there is something about going into January and into a new year, and in particular, this year, where we're going into a brand new decade, that feels like there's fresh possibilities, that anything is new. It's almost like you get an eraser and you get to say, okay, not that you have to erase things, but you can erase or let go and say that you just get to let go of anything that you might be holding on to for the new year, and you get to say, yes, I'm going to create anew. I'm just seeing all sorts of comments on the chat. Tina Games is like, oh yeah, we had a fabulous session, a great session in the Joyful Business Studio on Wednesday. That was the right conversation, the right time. Yes, we had a really deep conversation about your 5 personal energy, foundational energies. Deborah, great. I'm so glad you're here, and congratulations on moving into a new office next year. That is a joy flow sighting. Yeah, this year, this time of year, I always feel like that, letting go, the fresh possibilities. And then there's something about, here in the Northern Hemisphere, where it's winter, where it feels very like you want to cozy up, even though I'm here in Atlanta and it's 60 degrees out, but it's overcast and still feels wintry with the bare trees. It's like you want to cozy up and you want to dream, right? And you want to just imagine. And this is such a great time of year for reflection and dreaming and imagining. Your imagination is actually one of your most powerful, it's not even a tool, but it is kind of a tool. Your imagination, we've always heard it. If you can dream it, you can do it. And on some level, we might say, oh yeah, right. But on some level, deep down inside, that is really true. If you can dream it and you start taking action towards it, all sorts of things are possible. At least new things are possible. New things will happen. When you start taking action, that thing may never happen, but I can guarantee other things will happen. That is for sure. Martha says she's excited, her joy flow sighting, and she's excited about launching her website next week. Next week, congratulations. I'm working on my website, a new website for 2020. It's been a little bit torturous. And I am letting go of the torturous energy and finally starting to get into the flow of it, so I can feel it shifting and turning. So that's another thing I'm excited about for 2020. You can just hear people moving into a new office, got a new website. Like there's lots of fresh energy. Tina, I know she's working on a new website as well. So there's lots of good fresh energy. So you get to take advantage of that. I like to take advantage of these natural rhythms where we want to go inside, we want to reflect, and it is the perfect time to clear away what's not working, clear away the old stuff, and then dream about the new stuff, and then make decisions and choices about what you want to do for the new year and who you want to be for the new year. So you know me, I like to talk about the being and the doing, because the being is what gives the energy to all the doing, right? It's the attraction energy that goes into the doing. If somebody listened to just that one sentence, that would sound really strange. But you all know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the being and the doing. All right, if you like what you're hearing today, please do the likes and the hearts, because that gives me a little bit of feedback. I love to have interaction, and Facebook Live, you don't get quite as much interaction as normal. So I love it when you say, yes, I love that, or put something in the chat group, in the chat as well. All right, so I'm just thinking about, before I go into some things I want to share with you, I want to circle back around to, you know, just really bookmarking and acknowledging that this is the end of a decade, not just a year, but a decade, and that we're entering a new decade. And thanks for the floods of likes and hearts. Thank you. This new decade, I think every decade has this kind of energy in my experience, but there is something that is definitely just feels like the world is changing so fast. And so many things are happening that are so different than they used to be. I mean, if we looked back 10 years ago in 2010, the world was so different. I was watching a show that I've been binge watching during my sinus, cold, cough period. And just some of the things that they're talking about, you know, like Twitter was really new, and they would mention Facebook with kind of a laugh, like it was a novelty kind of thing, and all new technologies. You know, a lot of them had Blackberries, which I don't even know if I'm assuming they make those still. But it's like so many all new things that are coming in. Yes. So this whole new decade. So not only are you thinking about, or for me at least, I know I'm thinking about my business in terms of what do I want to do and be and create for the next year, but I also feel like it's, yeah, how do I want this next decade to be? Like that feels really big. Sometimes it might feel intimidating, so I don't get into the particulars or the particles about that. I just hold that as big, like what do I want this decade to be? If you haven't done a 10-year vision, this is a great time to do a 10-year vision. Which we're going to talk about a little bit as well. So some of the things that I want to share with you today about business planning, because I have so much experience in it, and because I've flipped it on its head, you know, my business plan and those of my clients don't have a ton of Excel spreadsheets. They are these creative, beautiful, amazing guides that they use literally to guide them throughout the year. I know a lot of you who are on here have the Joyful Business Plan. You know how powerful it is. So as you think about creating a plan, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about planning, and I'm going to give you some tips about planning, and then I'm also going to show you some ways that I use planning and some of my tools that are included in the Joyful Business Plan. So you get ideas for how to, you know, to see what resonates for you as well. Tina, I love Tina's comments. The Roaring 20s are coming back around again. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. The Roaring 20s. And yes, a 10-year vision. That is a really powerful, you know, with the decade shifting, this is a powerful time to do that. So here's the thing, is before you start planning, there's two things you want to do. One is you really want to scan 2019. You want to scan through the year. And the first thing you want to do is make a list of what do you want to let go of? What is it that you're done with? Like for me, I am done with getting sinus infections. And so I've been taking lots of actions to get to the bottom, kind of get to the root of these symptoms and how it impacts me. that I've kind of been living with for decades, really. Um, so that's one thing I want to let go of. And you might say, well, I thought we were talking about business plans. But you know what? When I get a sinus infection, that totally impacts my business because it makes me tired. Or I'm having to suck on cough drops and apologize if I go into a coughing fit, because of the remnants of a sinus infection. So and it certainly impacts your energy and how, your sleep and things like that. We talked on the last Joyful Business Live about your 5 energies and how incredibly important it is to really take exquisite self-care of your 5 energies. And if you want to know what those 5 energies are, go back and look at the last, listen to or watch the last Joyful Business Live show. So you want to look at what you want to let go of. It's really hard to go into a new year with excitement and freshness and moving forward and really getting into your flowmentum if you still have like one foot shackled back in the past and you're dragging along baggage of worry and anxiety or doubt or like I was determined I wasn't going to go into 2020 wishing I had a new updated website. So I don't have the new website, but I am totally in action and doing the copy and the graphics and all of that now. What is it that you feel like you've been dragging around in the year? What do you want to let go of? What do you want to leave behind? So that's a great place to look. The second thing that you want to do, again, this is before you even start planning, is you want to take some reflection time and you want to look at your celebrations. What are you celebrating from 2019? This is an incredibly, incredibly important ritual to do. I have this great worksheet that I love. I like to do worksheets that are more mind map based. This says celebrations, milestones, and successes. And then in each of these, here's an example from last year, each of these little circles, you put things that you are celebrating from the year. What's really cool about this is like the more you do it and the more you leave it out, you start remembering more and more things. So this is important no matter what, but if you're kind of like do a flash on 2019 and you're thinking, gosh, I didn't do as much as I wanted to, or what we tend to do is we always look at the list of things that we didn't get to instead of really savoring and appreciating the things that we did get to. And when you start looking at your list, this is my list from last year. I moved into a new home. Well, this year I moved into a new home, I had a new car. I wrote down concerts I went to, new programs that I launched, new technology that I shifted over to. That you tend to forget these things. And when you really start taking inventory and going through the year, you start realizing, wow, I did upgrade that system. Or wow, I was thinking this morning, my mom had 2 hip surgeries and I took, some time off in January and in August to be able to be with her and to be able to help out my family so they didn't feel so stressed. And I was really grateful that I got to do that. But it's something that I could easily just forget that I, had that contribution. I took lots of trips to the beach and to the ocean, and I met with so many wonderful, amazing people and got incredible clients. And until I put my clients' names down on here. I put everything, there's no rules. So I put personal, I put who I was being. You want to put things that you did, big things, little things. And the more you do it, it's like you start realizing, wow, there really was a lot to be grateful for, and there was a lot that happened. Even if the year didn't look like you expected, when you do this ritual, this is that place where you really step in your creative power, and it helps you shift it into blessings, where you start seeing the learning, seeing the blessing from the year. And it's a great energy to really start your year off with, is to really do the celebration of the past year. All right. The next thing that I like to do is do some visioning. And so, this is where you want some quiet, reflecting time. Visioning is hard to do at your computer, okay? Visioning is taking a walk in nature, going out to creative cafe time and reading something inspirational, and then just letting yourself free flow journal. Or, you can use this when the Joyful Business Plan. I have a mind map. I do have a visualization, a guided visualization that takes you through a visioning process. I'll tell you more about the Joyful Business Plan in a little bit. right now I want to just share the different tools and the different of my favorite practices and rituals for how I do planning and what I do with my clients that help make it stick. It's not just doing it this way makes it so that it's a more of an integrated process instead of being this thing that you go do. I wish I had a picture, but when I was in corporate, I had a bookcase, and we used to have our marketing plans were like that big and our business plans were that big. And so I had 100 of these binders on this whole bookcase. And, we would go and refer to them every now and then, but it was not something that was inspiring for sure. Your joyful business plan is something that you can do. You can see here my cover for 2019. I get all my clients to do this, all my private clients, everyone in the Joyful Business Studio gets the Joyful Business Plan. It's something that we bring in and integrate throughout the whole year. So it's like we do it during this period of reflection, but we use it throughout the entire year as a guide and as a helpful tool to make decisions and choices. All right, pop another cough drop. All right, so when you see that big lump in my mouth, I feel like we used to have these hamsters and they would always get these big, like squirrels, little nuts, but it's my cough drop. So visioning is really important because you can't really create a plan if you don't know where you want to go. I mean, you can create, that's not true. You can create plans. You can create lots of plans, lots of ideas, lots of things to do, but most of them end up being shoulds, and you end up questioning them a lot. But when you have this compelling vision, this really vivid vision, then that guides you, it like calls you forward, and you can make decisions and choices based on the vision. If your vision, like I've had this vision for the Center for Joyful Business being this home for all sorts of tools and products and programs to really help you shift your energy and get you in alignment with putting your gifts out into the world and being able to help people and make great money at it. And it's like I've had it, and there's a way that it's sprouting even bigger, right? I guess sprouting bigger wings is what I would say. And when I allow myself to go into that vision, it's something that I feel deep, deep within my heart. It's not, vision is not something that comes from your head. The plans and things like that often come from your head. The vision really comes from your heart. And when it comes from your heart, then that's the best guidance system. That's the best GPS around. All right. Hello, the choruses. I see Ellen and Irvine. So glad to have you here this afternoon. I miss seeing you guys. All right, another thing that I do that is really helpful when you're doing your business planning is to look at your beautiful brilliance. And your beautiful brilliance is, again, is really taking an inventory. This is kind of what that looks like. Taking an inventory of what are your strengths? What is your experience? What's your wisdom? What are you trained to do? What did you get through the school of hard knocks? I have a lot of wisdom after 20 years of business around having a business with kids, having a business going through 2 divorces, having a business on my own, doing collaborations and partnerships. There's all sorts of wisdom that you have and experience and expertise. And when you do this beautiful, brilliant exercise and really collect it together, it sets the powerful foundation for your plan. So this is like the pre-work before you actually get into the plans. If you just jump into the plans, then it's harder to make sure that it's aligned. So when you do this work, the visioning, your beautiful brilliance, and then another piece I'm going to share with you about getting clear about your clients, then it's all the actions that you take, your decisions that you make, everything is aligned. And then that's when it feels really good. And that's when the flow starts happening, and things and opportunities and possibilities and clients and money all start coming to you because you're really aligned from the inside out. So that's why you want to take the time to do some of this pre-work. Looking here for some of my favorite exercises. Two more that I would share as far as pre-work. One is your best client ever. It might be identifying your ideal client. I like to call it best client ever. I just did a class on this, on your best client ever, but your best client ever, it's not just any old client who will pay you, right? Your best client ever, it is a client who loves what you do. They are a raving fan. They are glad to pay you for the work that you do for them, for the change that you help them create, the successes and results that you help them with. They are such a raving fan that they refer you to everyone else. They can't wait for your next program, your next product to come out. They are usually first to sign up. They get excited when you have something new coming out. That's what your best clients ever are. They're not just a client who might buy a product every now and then. That's not your best client ever. Your best client ever is, yes, I want more of them. Love all the hearts. Yes, I'm definitely hitting a chord with that. So you want to get really clear on who that is. And you may have a couple of different best clients ever. I usually find that my clients have 2 to 3 kind of baskets, is what I call it, of best clients ever. For me, I have kind of a basket, if you will, best clients ever of new clients, new coaches, new healers, new spiritual type entrepreneurs and change makers. I have the seasoned ones who have some experience, they have some knowledge of their business, they've got their marketing system somewhat set up, and they want to grow their business, in a way that doesn't burn them out. And then I have like what I call the legacy clients. That's a lot of my private clients who are really creating their signature work, their legacy work, and they're wanting to get out there in a much bigger way, but they want to do it in a way that is really aligned with their soul. They're not interested in any sort of soul crushing activities. They really want it to be soul enriching activities. So you can tell I'm just recently off of getting really clear about who my best clients ever are. And the more clear you are about your BCEs, the easier it is to pick which marketing strategies and tactics, ideas are the right ones for you. It really helps you narrow down so that you don't feel like you don't go into overwhelm feeling like I must do all these 50 million marketing activities, because it's really easy to go there. Every email you get has a different, is telling you something different you should be doing. The more you can do this foundational work from the inside out, then the easier it will be to start prioritizing all those ideas that you have. All right, I'm going to share with you another one of my favorite exercises. And let me see where this one is. This one I debuted last year, and it's been a real favorite for everyone. This is called your Mirror Mentors. This really helps you. My cough drop. This really helps you with, this is particularly helpful with branding, with getting clear, the clearer you are about your message, your branding, really what I call the brand experience that you want people to have. Your mirror mentors are those people who are out there doing it, right? Doing it, whatever that might be for you. And you both or either or, admire them, or you have some jealousy over them. All right. We often, it's like, oh, it's good to admire somebody, but somehow we feel like it's bad to be jealous, but if we get real, it's like somebody else comes out, right now I'm somebody else comes out with this really great journal idea. And I'm like, oh, I want my journal. Somebody else comes out with a cool book. It's like, oh, I wish I would have written that book. We've all had that feeling. Or we see a really cool website and we're like, oh, when am I going to get my website done? So your Mirror Mentors is full of really great information about those people. I like to say that they're your mentors because you're either admiring them or you feel a bit jealous of them. And they're really a mirror showing you a reflection of what is alive in you. What is it that you want to create? Who do you want to be? And so in that exercise, you look at your different mirror mentors, and then you look at what they're doing, who they're being, and you really learn a lot from it. And I hear from my clients over and over again, it's just one of their favorites. They just find that to be incredibly powerful. All right, let me see. My other favorite in my Joyful Business Guide, I'm flipping through the Joyful Business Guide that I have here. There's about, not quite 30, there's about 27, 28 worksheets that are really fun, easy to use. You can get really creative about them. We're getting ready to open the doors on the Joyful Business Plan next Tuesday, depends on when you're listening to this, December 10th, and with the 2020 version. If you've bought it before, like I know a lot of you here on this call, we have 4 new or revised worksheets. So you're going to want to get the new worksheets, the new training. And then we're also doing something new this year. I like to print mine off. A lot of my clients like to print them off, put them into their own binder. So you can buy the digital version, or you can get the digital version, and you can also get a hard copy. And Tina, I'm waiting for you to say hooray. I know you're a big fan. Or you can get a hard copy printed and shipped to you. So I know a lot of people who just want it bound already and have it shipped to you. You can go to Joyful Business Plan. There's Tina, yay. You can go to joyfulbusinessplan.com on Tuesday, December 10th. And make sure you're on my email list, and we'll notify you. We're going to be doing some special, I'm going to do some extra special trainings, giving you some ideas and inspiration over the next couple weeks, things like that. You also get a virtual planning day when you buy the Joyful Business Plan. That's being held in January, so that we can all gather virtually to work and have dedicated time to work on our plans. All right, what else do I want to share with you? My favorite ideas for planning. And when you hear something good, make sure that you make a comment, because I love to hear your comments. What I like to do next, after you do some of that pre-work, right? You do your celebrations, you do your vision, your beautiful brilliance, and if you've done it in the past, it's like you update it, because you're always growing. So there's always going to be something new. Get really clear about your best clients ever. There's different things about your goals and stuff like that. What I'd like to do from there is take an inventory. And this might seem different. For a lot of you, when you think of planning, like the first thing you might think of is, let me get my calendar out, write down my ideas, and plan my ideas. That's actually not how it works the best. What works the best is if you do some of this pre-work, so that you're really lined up, so you know what it is you want to create, how you want to feel, what you want to be celebrating, who you're targeting, who are your ideal, your best clients ever. Everything else becomes easier. The next step is you want to take inventory. And so I have these great mind map tools where you take inventory on your current programs, products, and offers. This is incredibly helpful. If you've been in business for a number of years, you probably have a lot more than you realize. You might have your coach, you might have coaching programs, you might have a 6-month, 12-month VIP day. Like I have a retreat. I have the Joyful Business Studio, which is a membership site. You might have products, you might have a book, you might have ebooks, you might have a journal or a card deck. Take inventory of what you currently have. And then what you want to do from there is you write down your new ideas. Then you go to the new ideas. So notice there was a step first. Write what you currently have, then write your new ideas. And you want to totally write whatever ideas are coming to you. No editing. This is just free-for-all brainstorming. And it's so important because you want to get those ideas out of your head onto paper so they stop cluttering up your brain. Because the more clutter you have in your brain, it's harder to make decisions. It's harder to make choices. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed and get stuck. Or you get worried about making the right decision. When you start getting everything out on paper, it's so much easier to make decisions. When you do the inventory of your current offerings, then it's like you want to look over that and say, what is still working, and what do I still love? What of the things that you're offering are you still madly in love with? What brings you joy and your clients joy? If there's a product or a program that you hate delivering, or has become really tired, or you're just like, you've just lost energy, you're in a different place, then maybe it's time to retire that or lay low with that. I had a program, the 30-day passion project. I haven't done it in a couple years because I just needed to give it a little air. And I moved my focus to some other things, but I'm starting to feel the energy for that program coming back. Plus, once you get all your current offers out there, then you can make choices about which ones do you want to support for this year? Which ones do you want to expand? Do you want to fill or sell more? And then as you start looking at that, you can see where your holes are, where your opportunities are. And then you can look at, okay, your new ideas and say, which new ideas do I want to select? So often what we do when we want to plan is we get the calendar out and we say, okay, let me make a list of all the ideas I have, and then I gotta do all these things. But actually you need to decide and choose and prioritize which ones you want to do. I know that everybody who is listening to this is super creative, and I can guarantee that you probably have more ideas that flow through your brain than you can possibly ever do in the next decade, right? And so that's why it's so incredibly important to get them out. Then you can prioritize. And then we have this kind of 3-step process here for how you prioritize. What are you going to focus on, and what are you going to focus on first? These are the focus first blocks. So then what you do is you do the same process with your marketing. So you take inventory. What are your current marketing strategies? Again, I use a very similar type of mind map approach. What are your current marketing strategies? What are you doing? You write all those down, and then you have a little evaluation, and it's like, is this working? Is it not working? Do I need to change something? For example, this Joyful Business Live show, that's going to go on one of my current strategies. And then I get to evaluate. Is it working? Do I love doing it? Do I want to keep doing it? Do I want to change something? Do I want to turn it into a podcast? What do I want to do with these shows? It's just one example. And then you want to do another mind map where you're listing your new ideas. What are the new marketing strategies? And not just what could you do or should you do, but really what excites you? What gets you really excited? It's like using joy as a barometer for your marketing. Because here's the deal. No matter how much you say, I should do this, I should do Facebook Lives, I should do this, I could do this, so-and-so does this, so-and-so says to do this strategy. You're not going to do it if your energy isn't aligned with it. You're just not. I have written marketing prescriptions, so to speak, do these 3 things, and people won't do it unless it really comes from the inside out. And so there's ways that you might be able to align that energy. And so that's what you want to look at. That's why you want to get it out of your head and start looking at this. All right. The next thing I recommend is, out of those marketing strategies, is really picking one that I call your beacon marketing strategy. And I did a whole show on beacon marketing strategy. But your beacon marketing strategy is having something that is free, that is your go-to marketing strategy that you have going on all the time and that you can always invite people to. So this Joyful Business Live show is a beacon marketing strategy. I can always meet somebody new, I can be speaking to an audience, and I can tell everybody about the Joyful Business Live show. It's something that I can always invite people to. They can get a taste and experience of my philosophy, of my style, of my personality, of the way that I work. And it's a great way to kind of invite them into your community and your kind of your brand experience, if you will. All right. Another, beacon marketing strategies could be, a certain type of tips that you offer that are consistent, a column that you write, a video show, a podcast. I used to do Monday Miracle Marketing audios or messages. It's like all M's, Monday Miracle Marketing messages. And every Monday you would get an audio and an article in your inbox. I did that for about five or 6 years. And people still talk about that. It was something I could invite people to. So instead of trying to do 50 different things, you want to pick one thing that you do really, really well, and it becomes, your beacon, your beacon that is constantly just there, that constant signal that you're sending out. All right. Let's see. I'm going to wrap up with a couple more of my favorites. I also like to do what I call, a lot of you have heard of the funnel, marketing funnels. I call it the hourglass because to me, a funnel is missing a piece. And I like the flow of the hourglass. Up here is your marketing activities. You get people on your list, and then they come down into your offers. So this is marketing and sales. Your marketing flows into your sales. I think lots of times we think of marketing, sometimes it's something separate that we just have to do, and then it feels a little disconnected from our sales. So you want to bring those two together. And when you do it that way, you really get conscious about creating your marketing so that it actually is flowing into particular offers or experiences. All right. Don't forget the money, 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 money. Of course you want to do your money. I do have an Excel spreadsheet. That's one of the few, I think I have 3 Excel spreadsheets. One is where I project out my money for the year. And another one is where I actually track the actuals for the year. But I always do money goal setting, and I put that as part of my business plan. I look at what did I do last year? What am I going to do this year? I look at the number of clients, and I do a whole training on this, but I use easy, great, and heaven. So you have 3 numbers that you're projecting. We could talk, I could do a whole class. I could do a whole nother class on that. But you definitely want to bring the money into it. So, what you focus on expands. If you don't bring the money into your plan, then you're just going to have a lot of doing activities. So you want to make sure that you bring the money in. And what's so great about looking at the money is that when you look at a program, say you want to do a retreat and you want to have, a certain number of people, and it's like it forces you to look at, I love doing easy, great, and heaven numbers because it forces you to look at kind of the minimal viable and then going up to heaven in the dream. And then you look at this marketing that it takes to support that. Okay, I could get going on that because I love talking about that. Something new that we had this year is your big yes projects. So out of all the things that you've put into your joyful business plan, then you bring them all forward and you have the things that you're saying, it's a big yes. So there's unlimited things that you could do in your business. It could take unlimited time, unlimited money. We just don't have the bandwidth for this. Do you really have to look at where's the joy flowing? What are you just so excited about that you can't wait to do? And if it's not fitting that bill, then you either let it go, put it on hold, or can you change some of the dynamics in there to make it something that's really compelling and really exciting and something that you are as excited about sharing? When you market from that way, from the inside out, then the exact words aren't as necessary. The exact process, you just don't have to get so worried about perfectionism, quite honestly. It's like you can let go of some of that. Because your energy and who you're being and how you're lined up from the inside out does most of the work for you. But again, you really want to make sure that you've got a plan that you can use as a guide throughout the year so that you're not just reacting in the moment to whatever comes your way or doesn't come your way. So you're doing usually what happens for people is they're really overwhelmed, they're really super busy, and then they get scared and everything dries up. And then they're really, they do a bunch of activities and then they get business coming in and then they don't do the marketing and everything dries up. And it's this exhausting emotional roller coaster and financial roller coaster. Having a plan and working the plan and constantly revisiting the plan throughout the year so that you can make changes because you are going to change your plan. That's one of the biggest differences from the plans I used to create 20, 30 years ago. We didn't change it quite as much. Now you're definitely going to change that plan because whole new technologies are going to come out. You're going to change. All of you are big growth learner type people. You are going to change and you're going to want to change your offerings based on this new expertise that you have or new vision that you have. All right. And then from those big yes projects, then you want to get your calendar out. And this is where you want to start putting things in on the calendar. Putting your big project planner on your big project planner. So if you have a project that's, I want to do my new website, what month are you going to do the new website? And you want to make sure you know what month you're going to do your website, so you don't plan a big launch of a mastermind group or a big book launch, because you can't do the two together. So it's really helpful when you start spreading it out on a calendar and you realize you have to make some decisions about what you're willing to commit to, what you're going to let go of, what you might move into the next year. All right, I'm just checking the chat here. Hello, hello. So many great people have joined. So great to see you all. So we're just talking about the Joyful Business Plan, some of my favorite tips. I do the same thing with content planning. I do the planning throughout the year on, once I know what my big projects, my big yes projects are, then I can do content planning based on the themes of those projects. For some of you, you might want to plan topic themes. I have a lot of clients who do that, you know, and maybe a health coach is going to talk about, weight loss at the beginning of the year. They're going to talk about sugar in February for Valentine's Day, you know, and they do themes that they're going to talk about. And so that can really help. To me, the plan, doing all the planning helps take the stress out of the rest of the year, because then you know what you're going to do. And then what I encourage my clients to do is we have these quarterly retreats, virtual retreats, where you revisit your plan. And then you say, this isn't working. I never got to that. Here's things I'm going to let go of. Here's things new opportunities that have come my way I'm going to add in. And you're constantly adjusting throughout. But the difference from that and not having a plan is you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants for what may or may not come your way. And to me, that's a really stressful way to live, because then you're always like creating for the now instead of being able to create ahead. And that's where the real expansion comes in. I think that's a big difference that I've seen this year for me is I want to plan even more ahead, but doing some ahead planning of some bigger programs or things that are really important to me for my brand and expansion or visibility expansion, that's if I don't plan, they're just never going to happen. They're never going to happen in and around all the daily activities. All right, those are my tips for your Joyful Business Plan, for your own planning. And then in the Joyful Business Plan, we have all sorts of other tools that help you take that plan and then use them throughout the week, throughout the whole entire year. So you have your daily action planner. This is a favorite. I love it when clients come in for retreats and they pull out their notebook and they have their daily action plans for every week, and they have everything lined out, you know, for what they're going to focus on for the week. We do the same thing with a content planner. Oops, I gotta look for that. Yeah, we have a 90-day plan, and then your daily content planner, getting ideas for what you want to plan. It's such, to me, when I shifted from a plan being a box that I had to follow and being more of a guideline that actually gave me support, that was a huge shift. A plan is not a box saying you must follow this, you know, fail or die, kind of, you know, I mean, succeed or die, fail and die. You know, if you hold it like that, then yeah, nobody wants to do a plan like that. You know, I know when I was in corporate, we would get beaten up by our plans. You know, if you didn't achieve your goals, you were penalized on your bonuses. And so you didn't feel very excited about it. This approach where it's more of a guide, and then you have check-ins throughout the year so that you know you're going to shift and change. You already know that that's going to happen. So then it makes it so much more useful, and it really takes a lot of the stress out of running your own business. So those are my suggestions for today. I will be talking a lot more about business planning, creative business planning over the next couple of weeks. You know, make a note to watch your inbox if you're on my email list. Make sure you get on my email list at joyfulbusiness.com. And we'll be coming out with the Joyful Business Plan on December 10th and for 2020. And I can't wait to share it with you. I'm so excited. So I wish you luck. I can't wait to hear about what you're up to in 2020. It just promises to hold lots of excitement and abundance and possibilities. and success. All right, take care, everybody. All right, bye.